Welcome to this edition of Inside Track. I'm Kay Christ.
And I'm Art Fox. It's June, and that means the summer selling season is here. So this month, to help you gear up to sell the added value of your 92 Chevrolet and Geo passenger cars, Inside Track spotlights key product features and advantages.
We'll also look at GM's leadership in total safety systems and show you some of the not-so-obvious features designed to help drivers avoid accidents and protect all the occupants in a crash.
And later, we'll visit Ford and Toyota dealerships to see how they sell their safety features.
You'll find a number of useful ideas and selling techniques in this issue of Inside Track. It's also worthwhile to review your 92 product training videos and selling guides and other product literature to ensure that you know your Chevrolet and Geo models inside and out.
Well, now let's go to headlines in the news to find out what's happening in and around Chevrolet.
The Geo Owner Loyalty Program is off to a great start. By now, thousands of Geo customers have received your appreciation phone calls, and the first customer mailings went out on June 1st.
Your phone call, made within 48 hours after delivery, is the first and most important step in the Owner Loyalty Program. Your call tells your customers that you appreciate their business and confirms your interest in their continued satisfaction.
The result is a stronger, ongoing relationship between you and your customers, and that means more satisfied owners who are very likely to be loyal owners.
Selling the value is what selling Chevrolet and Geo is all about. Every 92 in your showroom offers a wide range of safety, performance, appearance, comfort and convenience, and easy-to-own features, all at a very affordable price. But don't just take our word for it. Check out the car book for the best bets of 92. Best bets are based on performance ratings in crash tests, airbags, anti-lock brakes, fuel economy, warranties, owner complaints, and insurance and repair costs. Chevrolet and Geo earned 5 spots in the best bet list, more than any other manufacturer. Let's review some of the features that make your 92 Chevrolets and Geos such a great value.
You have to go competitively to a car that costs probably $15,000 till you can find a vehicle that has anti-lock brakes. General Motors has developed some very cost-efficient technology in terms of anti-lock brakes to provide anti-lock brakes to the person that up until last year couldn't afford it.
When you start the vehicle, right away an ABS light comes on. It's a system check for you so that you know that it's working. If the light goes off right away, you know that it is indeed working. If it stays on, there's a malfunction.
The Escort does not offer them. If you look at the Shadow Sundance, it does not offer it. One of the other things in terms of what's new for 92 and the Cavalier is that we've gone from 13 to 14-inch brakes. And even though you may not get into a point where you're in the anti-lock condition, it provides a lot better pedal feel and the brakes feel much more responsive.
In the 92 Cavalier, power door locks are standard equipment. With the automatic transmission, it automatically locks the doors as soon as you put it in drive. With a manual 5-speed transmission, the car is in motion at 8 miles per hour, the doors will lock. The Cavalier has a new engine this year. It's 2.2 multi-port fuel injection. Last year it was 2.2 for 91, but it wasn't multi-port fuel injection. And what that has done, it's increased the horsepower in the car this year from 95 to 110 horsepower. And you also pick up an extra mile per gallon. So not only are you getting fuel economy, but you're also getting a little better performance than the car had last year.
On the previous Cavaliers, we had what we call throttle body injection. This had a single injector which was in a unit that looked a lot like a carburetor, providing fuel to the whole engine. With the port fuel injection, we've gone to injectors at every port, every cylinder, on the 4-cylinder, so that we've got a much better way to control the fuel.
One of the first major features I point out is the multi-port injected engine. It's 15 more horsepower this year. When you compare it to, let's say, like an Escort, which is 88 horsepower, the significance becomes even larger. Besides giving the Cavalier a nice Euro appearance, the front and rear bumper fascias are also functional. If you do happen to get a scratch on the front end, the bumper is the same color all the way throughout, so it won't be noticeable a couple years down the road.
The ABS is standard equipment on the Beretta. That's one of the best selling points of the vehicle. There's very few vehicles out there with that.
The Beretta is actually the lowest priced vehicle in the marketplace with standard ABS and driver's side airbag. That's not just in its competitive field, that's in the entire industry. The Probe does not offer a driver's side airbag at all, and you can get ABS brakes, but it's going to cost you about $600 to get that feature. The Beretta GT offers a 3.1-liter V6, which is comparable to the Probe LX's 3-liter V6. The horsepowers are very comparable. However, the Beretta GT's V6 does have a 20 foot-pound of torque advantage.
The car picks up really well getting on the freeway or just taking off from a light, having to, switch lanes real quick to make your turn.
The Probe LX has a standard 14-inch tire compared to the Beretta GT's standard 15-inch tire. The 15-inch tire has much more rubber on the road, and it grabs the road better and allows you to take turns much more confidently.
Beretta has 3-passenger seating back there, whereas the Probe only has room for 2. The Beretta also has a split seat configuration so that if you needed to put skis or ladders or whatever you'd like back there and be able to handle another person also.
Corsica offers the only model in this price range with standard airbag and anti-lock brakes. None of our competition has it, and none of them can offer it at any price, both in airbag and anti-lock brakes. You'll notice the anti-lock brake module here with 4 separate brake lines going to each individual brake. And when the module senses from the sensors reporting back from the wheels that one of the brakes is starting to lock up, the computer automatically takes over and starts pumping each brake up to 15 times a second.
And I wanted anti-lock brakes for sure. I was waffling a little bit about an airbag, but then I spoke to a student who had just been in an accident and said, if it had been for the airbag, so-and-so's head would have gone through the windshield. And I thought, well, there we go, there's an airbag for me.
One thing that differentiates the Corsica's airbag from the Ford Tempos is that on the Corsica, the horn buttons are still on the pad or on the steering wheel, and you can activate them with your thumbs. On the Tempo, the horn activation is relocated onto the turn signal. So you have to push in the turn signal to activate the horn. And in a panic situation, you're never going to find that feature.
The Ford Tempo does offer an airbag, but at extra cost. You cannot get anti-lock brakes on a Ford Tempo at any price. The Nissan Stanza does not offer an airbag in it, and you have to pay extra for the anti-lock brakes.
The standard engine on the Corsica is a 2.2-liter 4-cylinder overhead valve engine. It offers 110 horsepower and 130 foot-pounds of torque. The Tempo's base engine is a 2.3-liter 4-cylinder engine with only 96 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque. Corsica's optional 3.1-liter V6 has 140 horsepower and 185 foot-pounds of torque. If you compare that to the Tempo's optional V6, which is a 3.0-liter V6 with 130 horsepower and 150 foot-pounds of torque, you can see that the Corsica's V6 definitely outperforms the Tempos. If you look at the Stanza, on the other hand, they don't offer an optional engine at all.
Our Corsica is painted with the base coat, clear coat paint finish system. And what that means is when they paint this car the malachite color, while the paint is still tacky but not dripping, Chevrolet sprays it with clear coat paint on top of it. And what that means, and Chevrolet has done tests, is that after 4 years, 98% of the paint's original luster is still left on the car, which means you won't have to wax it as often, and your car has that just wet look, shiny look longer.
Corsica's exterior appearance is protected by two-sided galvanized steel on all body panels except the roof. It also has hot-dipped galvanized treatment on the inside of all body panels. Now this protects the appearance both from corrosion, both from the inside as well as the outside.
You notice that the Corsica has aerodynamic doors with hidden drip rails, which also cut down on wind noise and still protect the customer from getting wet when they get in and out of the vehicle. All Corsicas come standard with high resilient body side moldings, which are color keyed to the front and rear bumpers and just add for a streamlined look to the vehicle.
With all the standard features you get on the Corsica, including the driver's side airbag and four-wheel anti-lock brakes, you've got a great value story versus any competitor in its class.
All Camaros have a driver's side airbag. As you well know, it's been there for a few years.
Some other features that are available on Camaro Z28 that aren't available on Mustang GT is the passkey theft deterrent system, which of course will help keep your insurance costs down.
If you compare pre to post passkey in Camaro, there's a dramatic reduction in theft of the vehicle. The theft rate for Camaros has been reduced by 49%. Now, at the same time that's been happening for Camaro, the theft rate on Mustang has continued to go up.
What's not to like? It's a beautiful sports car. It handles very well, it accelerates quickly, and it's got that tight steering and suspension that it just rides real nice. It's everything I think anyone would like in a sports car.
There are a couple of different series out there, the SCCA Challenge series as well as IMSA has a Firehawk series. In those series, Camaro has done very well against Mustangs. We have beaten them rather soundingly almost all the time. We've got the wider track than Mustang, so it gives you more aggressive handling. Our brake system, a four-wheel disc brake rather than a disc drum system that Mustang has, allows us to brake quicker and brake more often, not have as much brake fade. The quality of Camaro has really been improved greatly over the past few years. The entire seal system around the T-tops has been redesigned. The car is now free of water leaks compared to some of the cars that we've built in the past with T-tops.
Four-wheel disc brakes is probably one of the most important things. Then your older front disc and rear drum, you've got the four-wheel disc, which allows you to have a shorter stopping distance, and it's also a good safety feature on the car.
The ABS system is standard on some of our models and available on all of them at a price of about $450. The Camry, for example, is in excess of $1,200 for the ABS option, and on the Taurus, it's approximately $600.
GM's got a patented design. It's a self-aligning steering wheel. If a person does get into an impact and they crash into the lower portion of the wheel, it does align to the chest to help prevent major abdominal injury.
Also, the energy-absorbing steering column absorbs the crash energy of the occupant moving forward into the wheel. This column assembly is mounted in the car and provides for deflections of components during a crash situation. The lower end of the shaft can be pushed rearward. In this case, the lower end of the column can slide up inside the outer casing of the energy-absorbing steering column shaft. And of course, if you're wearing your seat belts like you should be, then that feature would keep the wheel away from your chest.
Crush initiators are located in the front of the body structure to ensure that all the crush occurs in front of the vehicle and that the passenger compartment remains intact.
The objective is to retain the integrity of this passenger compartment during a crash situation to provide the space for the occupants.
Rigid body structure offers several advantages. It reduces the vehicle shake, vibration, and noise as the vehicle goes down the road. It offers more flexibility to the suspension tuning so you can get your desired ride and handling characteristics. In order to achieve the desired overall body rigidity, it's important to have good joint stiffness. A good example on the Lumina is the front body hinge pillar joint. You can see in this design how we've optimized the section properties of the joint to both the motor compartment upper rail and the A-pillar to achieve the stiffest joint possible in this area.
Got to get that value for your money. And when we bought this car, it had a lot of features where the other ones didn't when we compared. You know, you have to give and take. And this one had a lot more features, and the price was right, too.
The Lumina resale, from all the studies we have right now, indicates that it's much better than the Taurus, and this has allowed us to do a lot more leasing business and made the Lumina the #1 lease vehicle at Chevrolet.
Quality, style, value, performance, you've got it all.
So when you're pointing out key features, remember to mention those exclusives that only Chevrolet Geo offers.
Like stain-resistant Scotch-Guard fabric protection on seats and door panels to help interiors stay looking showroom new.
And Chevrolet's Roadside Assistance Center. One toll-free call provides expert assistance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all across the country. Another Chevrolet exclusive is Smart Lease. For many of your customers, leasing is the right financing option.
And Smart Lease can benefit you, too. Because you know exactly when a lease customer will return to your dealership, Smart Lease helps you control your customer base while you systematically build your business. So be sure to explain the benefits of Smart Lease to your customers.
Smart Lease is just one example of the variety of needs and changing attitudes of today's customers. We're operating in a climate where it seems that just about everyone is focusing on health and wellness. People are becoming more and more interested in eating right, exercising, and maintaining a healthy environment. One of the offshoots of the movement toward better health is a strong concern for automotive safety. It's a major issue for just about everyone these days. To find out more about GM's total safety systems, Inside Track talked to Mick Sherba, manager of safety and crashworthiness systems at the General Motors Proving Ground.
When you're talking about safety, you have to really go back many years, and General Motors was really a pioneer and a leader in automotive safety, starting back in 1924 with the world's first automotive proving ground, and in 1955 we had the world's first safety research and development laboratory out at the Milford Proving Ground. So when you combine that early knowledge and testing of safety with the fact that General Motors is really the only manufacturer with an advanced biomedical research laboratory, and that's really where you have the physicians and scientists that are dedicated to understanding human injury and the effects of human injury, and they're able to translate that medical understanding of trauma, emergency room type trauma, into information that the engineer can understand and deal with. And if we know how people get injured from a medical standpoint, we're able to develop these devices called test dummies, which replicate those types of injuries in an actual collision event. We use the test dummy as really a translator. It converts the medical aspects of human injury into engineering terms such as forces, masses, and displacements. And that's really the key. Being able to understand how people get hurt and translate that into product features which reduce those injuries is really how Chevrolet has been a leader in automotive safety. The Corsica is a very good representation of all the safety features found in Chevrolet vehicles. In addition, the more notable ones like the airbag and the anti-lock brakes, there are really over 100 safety features, and each one of those safety features provides a small incremental benefit toward your safety. But when you add up the incremental benefit of over 100 features, you end up with a superior performing vehicle. One very important aspect of the safety cage is the side guard door beam. It's obviously very important in side collisions. It's an element of the safety cage which consists of the rockers, the lock pillar, and the reinforced roof structure, and all those elements combine to form a cocoon-like safety cage that surrounds the occupant, maintains its integrity in collisions, and allows the seatbelt and interior padding to provide optimal protection for the occupants. GM was the first car company in the world to have an airbag back in 1974, and that was a decade before any other manufacturer felt compelled to provide one. And that knowledge that we gained from that early experience allowed us to design a better engineered, more comprehensively tested airbag today. The airbag is really inflated by sodium azide, which is a solid propellant in the shape of a donut. It's heated by a small wire and decomposes into nitrogen gas, of which the atmosphere is 80% of. So it's a non-toxic gas that rapidly inflates in just the blink of an eye. General Motors was a pioneer in the high-penetration windshield installation. This is a piece of glass identical to that found in the Corsica, and basically it's two thin layers of glass separated by a plastic laminate. The purpose is to maintain the occupants in the vehicle. In the unlikely event of a very high-speed collision, whether the driver's wearing belts or not, there is the potential of contacting the windshield, and this will provide a safety net preventing the occupants from passing through and being ejected and potentially hitting objects outside of the vehicle. Another important element of our total safety systems is the center high-mounted stop lamp. General Motors was the first manufacturer to offer this back in 1985, and it reduces relevant rear-end collisions by 17%, according to government statistics. General Motors has been researching safety for many decades, and we have published more information than all other manufacturers combined, and basically shared that information with the rest of the world, not only our domestic competitors, but those in Europe and in Asia as well. And every manufacturer that sells cars in this country has used technology developed by General Motors. And so there are some things that are competitive from a manufacturer standpoint, but from a safety standpoint, And from an ethical standpoint, we will share that information through the Society of Automotive Engineers and other reputable channels so that the total motoring public benefits from that expenditure in research.
At General Motors, safety is a lot more than airbags and ABS. GM looks at every vehicle as a total safety system, designed, engineered, and tested over and over again to ensure safety, reliability, and durability.
You've got a great safety story to tell your customers. And while some safety features may seem self-evident, it's essential that you tell a complete safety story, because that's what your competitors are doing.
So another safety feature, of course, it's harder to see up here because of all this junk. If you could move this, you can see it real easy, but basically it also utilizes the crumple zones at the front like I was telling you about.
You got a safety flip box. You hit somebody, keep the lift coming through the windshield on you. Also, it's got stress points manufactured designed into it.
The intrusion bars around the side, so if you took a major shot in the side, the passengers are going to be protected. In front, what you have that you won't find in your competition is the crumple zone. When you see those double tie downs there, those hooks, if you had a major hit on collision, this hood locks down so it doesn't come back through the front firewall.
The fact is, every Chevrolet and Geo product has crush initiators, side guard door beams, and hood safety latches. Take the time to point them out to your customers and explain too that GM pioneered many of these safety features, including side guard door beams, lap and shoulder belts for the outboard rear seat passengers, and the center high-mounted stop lamp.
Add it all up. With Chevrolet and Geo, you've got a great safety and value story for your customers. And now is the time to make the most of it.
That's it for this edition of Inside Track. Tune in next month when we check out the 92 Geo Metro and match it up against Ford Festiva.
In the meantime, let us know what you think about Inside Track. You'll find the response card in the videotape package. Fill it out and drop it in the mail. You'll be automatically entered in our Inside Track giveaway.
Or, if you prefer, you can write to Inside Track, Chevrolet Motor Division, P.O. Box 9065, Warren, Michigan, 48090 9065.
Thanks for joining us. See you next month.